We'll just go around very quickly. I may not get to everybody. Hopefully we will, but I'm just going to go around on what I see as basically the different, what comes up. So if you've got a question or a comment, certainly if you would be cognizant of that, we do have 36 people and I'd like to get around, but please, if you don't have a comment or question, comment, that's fine too. So we'll start off with Henke. Can you, I'm going to ask you if you would mute. Do you have any questions or comments for Shiv?
I do have one, and that is looking at all the different frameworks. I was wondering, are we possibly missing the indigenous one? When we're looking at the different belief systems, we're talking about, going from consciousness to, subconsciousness. Is there something also similar with the question of, non-matter and matter? A lot of these are creation stories, and I'm wondering if that piece is something that should be incorporated into it.
Shiv?
Yes, I think you're right. We need to incorporate everything, but our problem is we're a very small organization and we don't have the resources to incorporate the whole thing. What we did was we went with the major religions and we incorporated those.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, Henke, it is the indigenous.
You're very right. We should be talking about it.
Wonderful.
And then indigenous also, various kinds of indigenous people. There's Australian, there's Canadian, there's American, there's the Mayans. Everywhere you go, there.
But a good point, Henke. You'll see basically on
where
we've got the golden rule where we showed that we have that on there specifically.
Yeah,
but
yes.
Great
There
point.
is a similar story.
Say a few words.
So hang on, guys. Hang on. Hang on.
There is a group that goes. It's indigenous groups, and they're across the globe, and they do meet periodically. And I've sat in and listened to one of their workshops, and it was specifically on creation stories. So I'm wondering if there might be. You said we don't have the resources, but perhaps through a second or a third association, this could be a piece that could be, even brought in and accepted in a different light of a sister organization such as Pro-Social, but also within that light.
No, you're dead on, Henke. Like, for example, even in the Haudenosaunee, they've got very similar to the Bible. They've got their own Cain and Abel. Anyway, we won't digress, but thank you. We will certainly. Thanks so much. Frederick Glacier? We're going to go around and I'll try to come to everybody, but Frederick?
Fritz,
can you
unmute yourself, Fritz?
Fritz?
Yeah, he's my friend from Australia.
Fritz? Can you unmute?
May I say a few words?
Yeah.
Hang on, we're going to come right around. Everybody's going to get a little turn. Okay, let's move on. Daryl, I'll come back to Ren. Daryl?
Me?
Yep, you.
This is sort of just a story related to Heike's comment about indigenous people and indigenous traditions. And when I was still teaching, I used to invite an indigenous person to my class. And it was an evening class, so we had 3 hours. And he was from the First Nations here in Ontario. And the first question he asked me when I asked him to come to class was, could we begin with a smudge, a ceremony that to purify the sort of atmosphere in our minds and so open us to what was following. I said, of course, that would be fine, great. So we did that, and he gave us a wonderful presentation and talking about the ways of the First Nation. And then we had questions and just more discussion. And then he kind of surprised me when he started talking about a particular parish in Toronto that had incorporated into its life certain elements from the First Nations. tradition. And I said, really? I mean, I said, so how do you understand the relationship between your First Nation kind of wisdom and your Catholic wisdom? Because he said he was also a Catholic. And he said, oh, they're just the same.
Well, think about it, Gerald. Smudging and incense. A lot of very similarities about cleansing. Anyhow, thank you, Joe.
And so there's that
yeah,
I think there's
similarity.
this wisdom found in all the traditions, you know, and it's, yeah, just to
Thank you, Joe. Ram, you're muted. Ram, are you there? Okay, we'll come back to Ram. Jonathan, we want a younger perspective, and then Verinda will come to you. Jonathan, by the way, wonderful, wonderful video that you sent. You have to unmute, Jonathan.
Okay.
Wonderful video that we saw from you. Thank you so much about breath. Outstanding. Anyhow.
Yeah, I don't really have too much. I found this an interesting day overall. The video he was talking about, it was on Monday night. During the deep breathing session, I shared a video about breathing and Christian Jewish tradition kind of. So, but yeah, this was an interesting day to be part of.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan. Verinda, are you there? Verinda Sharma? Verinda? Yeah.
I was very happy to see friend Shiv in action after more than 60 years when we were studying engineering as young boys in a town called Chandigarh in India. I am very impressed with the objectives of Chen. These are changes that the world needs today, and I feel there is going to be good degree of success. It is supported by so many people of variety of people with wide competencies. I've been very important sessions. I have a small, a brief round suggestion. In practice, I did very little engineering for more than 4 decades, devoted to HRD, Human Resource Development, developing people. Core learning has been that people learn to stories of knowledge. There is a thing on the basic personality of human beings, something like the bottom of the iceberg example that was shown. The kind of personality traits I'm talking about, like you cannot make a risk-averse person starting to take risk easily and liking it. Now, coming to the issue here, the faith in a religion, I don't know which part of the iceberg it belongs to, but I presume that it will be difficult to change a person having great faith in his community religion over to universal religion. I was happy to see in today's presentation that millennials are getting interested in spirituality. Very good. My suggestion is, can we move it a still lower age group, the school leaving age group, 14, 16, 18 years, because I believe they are more amenable to accepting this kind of concept. And I believe that it should be possible that a young person stepping out of the school believes that we ought to accept a person as an individual rather than stereotyping him as a Muslim or a Hindu or a Christian or a Jew.
Verinda, thank you. Shiv,
thank you.
Comment?
Well, VK, I think what you're talking about is very doable. There are approaches in yoga that can involve very young people. What you start with is involving them to use the body consciously to stay healthy. And then from that, you can go to breathing, which unconsciously changes and broadens your thought. It's the divisive survival instincts that keep us divided. And what breathing does is it calms the arousal caused by the survival instincts. Our mind is in a state of arousal perpetually because our mind is always involved in survival instincts.
Jeff.
And
Shobna? Shobna?
Yeah, I was just agreeing with Virendra that we should include school children because they might have different perspectives that we might not have thought about. So yes, thanks, Virendra.
Thanks, Shobna. Robin? Robin? You there, Robin?
Yeah, I really don't have anything to add.
Okay.
Hello, hello.
Hello, yeah, you're kind of breaking
Okay,
up.
yeah.
I got it that you don't have much to add, but that's okay. I see the puppy in the background.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's been very interesting, and I've enjoyed Jeff's presentations immensely.
Yep.
He was discussing all the different types of contemplative activities that are out there that it could be overwhelming to millennials. And I'm thinking that we should come up with some sort of personality analysis, like a questionnaire, to ask them about what type of activities do they enjoy? Can they sit still for periods of time? Are they very active? And then you could actually direct them to activities that would fit their personalities.
Yeah, it's a great suggestion. Great suggestion. Manorma, are you there? You're on. Any comments or questions for Shiv? You got to unmute. Mr. Nanda? Yeah, no questions. Okay. Ashwin, how are you, my friend?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I've always appreciated over the last year joining the deep breathing sessions, and then in particular discovering this Shiv's interfaith championing and promotion and view, and I had that view before even joining the group. So I really look forward, and I think we could get traction with millennials.
Well, that's one of you're a millennial, are you not?
I think there's different definitions. I'm technically Gen X.
We're putting you in that box.
I think my kids are millennials.
Anyway,
I hear the latest generation is the alpha generation.
Oh, the alpha generation. Okay. And here's a generation unto himself. Sir William, Bill, comments?
No comments. I've been here the whole time, by the way. I've been off camera a little bit. I've been a little fidgety. It's been snowing here for 3 days. The sun came out, and I have to open the windows and just do some things. So I've been watching it like television, and I didn't want to be a distraction by going back and forth in the background. But I've been here. Nothing to add today, thanks.
Okay. Thanks so much, Bill. God bless. Sandy?
Thanks very much. Appreciated both presentations. One caveat. One is I think we really need to be very careful to not interpret other people's beliefs in our own way. So just have to be a little attentive to that. The other thing I'd like to say is that there are already some very good contemplative practices going on with young children in the Roman Catholic schools here in Ontario, in Southern Ontario. So Hamilton Diocese schools, so Waterloo Region, Hamilton, the kids as young as grade 3 are doing contemplative practice, sitting in silence, breathing, almost every day. So that's already happening.
Wonderful. And Henka, to your point on Indigenous, I know that the Catholic School Board in Peel, because I was attended basically with one of our Indigenous leaders with HIP, is basically incorporated Indigenous learnings specifically within the framework. And we need more of that, but anyhow. Thank you so much, Sandy. Sanjeev, are you there? Okay. How are you, my friend? Sanjeev? Tarwal? No? You on mute, but I can't hear you. No worries. Naranjan? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both the talks of Shiv and Jeff were wonderful today.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. They were, both of them.
My actually problem is that how do you, like as a child is born, the first 7 years, his mind is in a hypnotic state. Whatever you put in his mind, it becomes a part of his subconscious mind. And as he gets older, when he becomes an adult, 95% of his mind is conditioned mind, from school, from families, from children, from culture, religion, everything is conditioned. So he's not himself really. So only 5% of his mind is conscious really. It basically, all the rest of the mind is unconscious. Really. So when you break this study of contemplation, I think it should start with parents really. So children teach the parents really, because when the child comes home, he comes to a home where the parents are conditioned already, and they put a burden on this child who's going to a school which is contemplative, is a different approach. He comes home to a family where they are totally conditioned really themselves. So how do the child get a chance to grow up really? So there is a question really.
Shiv, do you want to address that? Shiv?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to? The question was, when the parents aren't correct me, Naranja, if the parents aren't in sync, how are you going to bring the kids along, even if they're trained to school? Is that correct?
This idea is the parents are conditioned really, and the child is conditioned by the time he's adult, he's conditioned completely by society, by culture, by religion, everything. So when you start a child goes to school initially, say primary school, he comes home to a family where the minds are totally conditioned, for example, religiously. I'm a Hindu, I'm a Christian, or a Muslim. He puts his conditioning again on the child. Really. So what happens to the child? Is he not getting confused, really?
Well, it's an implementation question. If this kind of education is widely implemented, I think all those questions will be sorted out. The idea is not belief. The idea is trying to understand the foundations of belief. Okay, and we are not going to be teaching it as another religion. It is talking about the nature of existence from a point of view which includes religion. Not necessarily a religion, but all. What we're talking about is holistic science, which is the basis of all religions, and science, which is the basis of secular knowledge. So we are not really threatening anybody's belief system. They can believe what they want, but what is taught in the school is all inclusive.
Robin has just sent me something. What about creating handouts for students to take home to their parents? But that's certainly, at the end of the day, it's something as we evolve this, certainly. But Robin's just saying, what about some handouts that could explain it? I think in anything, you've got to basically have not just, people don't just learn in school, they learn at home, and you as teachers and as you've got to incorporate that. And I think that's certainly a great suggestion. But Naranja, not an easy answer right now, but certainly something to be considered. Thank you. I'm going to go to the next person, Christopher Dennis, aka Bernie Sanders. Are you there?
I'm here, yes, Fred. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, my friend.
I had a thought related to all of this about how we shouldn't be surprised about the commonality of wisdom across traditions, given that the human experience in a general sense is uniform, and perhaps it would be useful to investigate how this common wisdom arises, how it actually, from what parts of human experience does it arise? Various aspects that are the same across traditions. Why is it that we have these repeating patterns? And then, we can sort of intuit what the next steps would be from. That was my thought. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Ram, can you unmute? Are you there? There you are. Oh, you were there. One more time.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can, Ram.
Okay, Fred. It's a question directed to Dr. Shipthwart. Beautiful presentation. I'm reviewing your book, sir, The Common Ground. And most of the diagrams and all that was beautifully done in the book, and you also presented today. My question to you is what they call evolution to transformation, or the integration of science to spirituality. The two different fields together. Of course, you make them join at the atom theory and the energy behind it. Energy, as Lourdes says, the mystery or that one in your book, that one is a mystery, I understand. And when you say existence and non-existence, and then there was non-existence. So it's a little bit confusing that way. That one was there or not there. If he was there, of course, that is the way the theory is. Now, to go to the children on this concept of science and spirituality, you have to really, really go very delicately to their mind, let them analyze themselves, let them decide themselves which way they want to coincide these two things together, spirituality and science. We are heading towards engineering, medicine, this and that. The two fields are separate. And still, your deep breathing, pranayama, yoga, it will help them. I agree 100%. And that might lead them to spirituality, to go within, to analyze yourself within, the self. Thank you if you can enhance on that to me.
Shiv?
Thank you, Ramji. I think your points are valid. There always are problems in teaching, and it's a question of devising ways of communicating ideas. And also, ideas of this nature can be learned contemplatively. There are 3 steps of learning of profound ideas. Okay, the first step, of course, is reading or listening, reading a book or listening with the ears, some, knowledgeable person talking. And then second step is reflection. Okay, reflection, you recall what you heard or you read, and you go over it as you are doing your life. And then there's a third step. The first 2 steps cannot decode everything. When something is very profound, then you have to sit down, take time off, calm your mind, and contemplate on it. Okay, so most of the education that is happening these days can be covered with 2 steps. The first one, the cognitive, and the reflective step. The contemplative step takes you to the profound realities that are not easily understood. with the first two in a state of contemplation.
Thank you, Shiv. Renu?
Nicely explained. Thank you, Dr. Shitwal. It's nice to understand that. But still, there's a bit more question. Fred, if you allow me to ask Dr. Shiv.
Ram, can I come back to you? I just want to make sure we get to everybody, but I will come back if we've got time at the end.
Thank you for answering my question, Dr. Shiv.
No problem.
No, I'm good, Fred. I don't have anything at the moment.
Okay, jolly good. Kathy? Kathy Bazuti? Kathy, are you there? Mahesh?
Sorry, it's Kathy Lee. I am
Hi,
here,
Kathy,
and I'm
Yep.
here, and I'm good. I'm listening intently. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. God bless. Mahesh? Anything? Great. Have I missed anybody before we go back to Ram? Ram, you're on.
Hi. You allow me, Fred?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Okay. In your diagram, Dr. Shiv, you're showing sitting on a chair, deep breathing. Actually, deep breathing is still a part of pranayama, which is a big enhanced, the parent sort of mode of deep breathing. In pranayama, we have so many modes of deep breathing. So deep breathing, you say, don't stop the breath inside and just keep on taking breath in and inhaling and exhaling. Fine. The thing is, we sit normally in pranayama in a lotus position, across legs. Does it make any difference sitting on a chair or there? That's one question.
I think the position, the posture is dependent upon your ability. If your knees have a problem and your legs are not that flexible, you've not been doing yoga, you cannot sit in the Indian style cross-legged position. So the best way then is you can sit on the chair, on the front part of the chair with the backbone straight and the neck bone aligned with the backbone. Okay. And of course, deep breathing is a form of pranayama. Pranayama is conscious breathing, and there are a zillion ways you can breathe consciously. Okay, this is one way. And I teach it because this way is conducive to contemplation. Okay. Breathing in and holding it in, and that kind of a vigorous exercise of Kapalbhati and all those, they're very vigorous exercises. And that is, they are not conducive to meditation. They are not conducive to contemplation. What the purpose of deep breathing for that I teach is geared towards contemplation, calming the mind without distraction of the body.
Okay.
Minimum distraction, maximum calming of the mind.
Shiv, and that's
removal of arousal.
That's a perfect segue into next week's, which I think is going to be an excellent program.
Thank you. Thank you. It's beautifully
Thanks,
done.
Ram. But Shiv, just in closing, we got 2 minutes, but Shiv, you brought it up in terms of contemplation. Next week, do you want to talk a little bit about what we're going to cover?
Next week, we have, again, 2.5 hours. I want to talk about the details of yoga. I want to talk about pranayama and, deep breathing, how that blends into yogic contemplation, and how essential that part is of calming the mind before you can contemplate on anything. If the mind is in a state of arousal, it cannot concentrate, it cannot focus on any one topic. So if we are contemplating on a profound topic that we cannot understand otherwise, then we need to focus on it without distraction. But breath has to go on. We cannot stop the breath. How to breathe when we are contemplating? That is what we are talking about. Prepare the mind for contemplation and then move into contemplation. You know, I use the metaphor of the iceberg. When the iceberg is let loose in the ocean, you have no control on it. No, I want to get hold of the iceberg and I want to reshape it. Okay, you know, I have to first control it, control its movement so that I can work on it to reshape it. Contemplation reshapes the mind, transforms it. Okay, first you have to get a handle on it and then you work on it.
Thank you, Shiv. We're at 12:30.
Thank you.
Just a big old hug to everybody on the call, and we will see you next week. God bless you all. God bless you all. Take care.